This is Lansdowne, the voice of the fans. In state of mind, but you're very welcome to the window preview. David Dunn here, joined by Mara Prendergast, who looks very tan, and Conor McAvoy, who looks very dead. Anyway, lads, you're very welcome. Before I ask how you're doing, I'll tell you how I'm doing. It's probably quite evident, and I do apologise for the state of my dulcet tones today. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that like button. And subscribe. Otherwise, Conor, what happens if you don't subscribe?
The Arlo match gets cancelled on Friday.
I was going to say, I was going to set Conor on you. You don't want an angry little fella from Ulster coming after you. Anyway,
or an Irishman based in the UK like yourself.
Colin Black there, but anyway. So yes, this is the window preview, and I'm all excited, and we're going to talk all about Luxembourg, should be good 2 minutes, and Senegal, should be good 5 minutes, and of course about the Irish squad. But yeah, as I said, subscribe to the YouTube channel, get all that lovely information that we give you, and head over to our Facebook, Instagram, and our Twitter account, and we have a brand new fanzine as well available over at Lansdowne Roar, and the link to that will be in the description of this video. Plus, we have David Ford live in London on the 20th. There were some issues with the link, so if you have tried to get on to get a ticket on the link, that has been now sorted, rectified. Some issues there with Google, but he will be live with us on the 20th of June in the Clan Ring in North London. He'll be selling his book. I'll be doing the book signing. £30 gets you a book and a bit of free grub as well. I mean, come on. And it all goes, well, proceedings go to Hacks, a fantastic charity as well. It's all to do with Risk London. So it's all brilliant. Right, chaps, let's get into it. Conor, you were up today for the press conference. What did Jacob Bryan have to say?
Just speaking about his excitement for Friday, which it'll be exciting one to get stuck into.
Good thing we had Matt Turnbull, eh?
Yeah.
If you are watching Matt Turnbull, thank you very much. Because somebody didn't make it, Martin, did they, to the press conference? Somebody was a bit late.
I wasn't late. They started very early, and I know other people can.
I don't know.
I don't know what to say, Conor. I don't know what to say.
Back me up. But anyway, Martin, I must say, the man has never sounded better. I think I like this version of Dave. But all of us, I think he's playing up to this a bit here. We were talking to him before he was on the stream. I didn't hear. He was sounding perfectly normal. And all of a sudden, when he comes on for the cameras, he wants people to feel bad for him.
I could have an arm missing and nobody would feel bad for me. I don't want your pity.
Good, we don't feel bad for you, Martin. Good. How are you doing anyway? I'm good to see you. It's always good to see
you. I'm the host.
So Martin, how are you doing anyway? It's good to be back on with you.
I fucking change that there as well.
He doesn't like that. He doesn't like that. Oh dear.
Kind of goes to the bottom
now.
Well, there we go.
Jesus. Right.
It's like the Brady Bunch, yeah.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I had a nice weekend.
Hold on. I asked the questions here. Martin, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Dave. I'm hopefully you're going to be recovered for the big week ahead, international week. I know you're not playing, but you know you are the glue of the pod, and you keep it all going, of course. And you do. I'm giving you a bit of praise, Dave, because we're used to the self praise.
How much of it?
But hopefully you'll be flying fit up to the weekend now, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, good international week of football, isn't it? The women are playing tomorrow. Underage teams are in action as well. And of course, Friday then taking on Senegal. I think it's going to be decent. I mean, I look up their record there. I know we're going to do a bit of a preview about them, but don't know much about them. Obviously, the main players, of course, but you know they're unbeaten. I think in the last 6 at least. So I could be bothered to look back on. So you know they're going to be tough opposition, and it's going to be interesting seeing this African side coming to. We were chatting, weren't we, on our WhatsApp groups the other day? Last time Ireland had played African teams. Dave, you quickly searched on Google to give us the answers. You know,
I didn't.
You threw out Algeria, didn't you? You threw out Algeria.
I didn't. I did say Algeria, and you are correct. But I didn't go on Google. See, that's Google.
Just the font of knowledge.
Right there. And just for those of you listening on the audio versions, you should really be watching us, but I'm pointing to my hand to the knowledge. No, because I was at that match in the RDS.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, and we played. I remember. Do you know why I remember it distinctly? Because we played. It was a 2-game series, and we played. Was it Paraguay? Was the next one?
I think so. Yeah.
And Roca Santa Cruz was playing.
That's right, and I couldn't make the Paraguay one because my father was having heart surgery in London. So it was the first Ireland game but missed in Dublin for about 5 years.
What year was that?
2010.
It was just before they went to the World Cup, wasn't it?
2010, yeah. The first one I'd missed in about 5 years. Used to go to all the games, all through the Brian Keir era.
Keir,
yeah. All through the Brian Keir era in Lansdowne Road, and then and took over that disaster all the way through to that was between Croke Park. No, Croke Park was.
Yeah, no, it was because
you couldn't have a game at Croke Park. Yeah,
no, the rugby was on, wasn't it? The rugby was on. So they, so that's why they did it there.
Oh, it would have.
Oh no, it wasn't open. I know, but the rugby was being hosted in Croke Park.
So you were never going to sell out Croke Park for Paraguay.
No.
I think it was more to do with that, actually. We're never going to sell out Croke Park for Paraguay or Algeria. Anyway, but yeah, sorry, where were we, lads? Back to Senegal.
Yeah. No, we're just chatting about like the history of playing African sides and things. I think it's a good test. I mean, look back to 2002 as well, Nigeria. That would kind of really announce Duffer on the scene, didn't it? Before we went off to the World Cup, and then we've played a few down in Thomond Park and things like that, didn't we? South Africa, I think.
Where?
As well. Thomond Park.
Thomond Park.
No?
Yeah, you said Thomond Park at the start.
Oh Jesus! Did I?
We're having a right go at each other today.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. No, that was the first game I missed because I couldn't go to those.
Yeah,
games.
I didn't go to that. Yeah.
There's no way to get to it, and then I asked for a. I rang the lady at the Abbottstown and asked, "What's going on? And do you do buses or anything?" No, we don't do that.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe you should?
Can you get a bus from Dublin to Limerick?
No, the public transport was. I mean, I had no connections when I had a fan clubs. Did no Risk London. I was still living in Ireland, and I used to go to all the games. Like I had a season ticket at Croke Park, and I used to go to all the matches in Croke Park in Hoganstown. 4 of us get absolutely slaughtered before the game and during the game. I used to sneak in the old Coke bottles down the sleeves, filled with vodka. Filled with vodka. I used to call them rockets. And shout out to Ken. No, I won't say any names. But yeah, and I remember then we used to, and I remember they held them in Thomond Park, and it was just like, well, how do we get there? And they said, we've no idea. And the train, I think the last train back to Dublin was like would have been around half time. It was ridiculous. I mean, have it in Limerick, but just make it accessible. And it should be accessible. If it's in Dublin, it should be accessible for everybody.
Oh, I feel bad for the rest of the country that has to travel to Dublin to all these games just because of you, because you're from the capital and you're.
I travel from London, you saucy bastard.
You better. This when you used to live in.
And by the way, and so does the fucking tanning bed master over there as well. We both travel from London. Oh yeah.
I don't like to talk about my work in the community, but obviously I do a lot of football coaching. I give back.
Oh, do you? Oh, you haven't told us.
So, yeah. So that was just when I get out.
What's that got to do? What's that got?
That's why I'm out in the sun. I'm explaining my sun tan. Sorry about that.
What's fucking well, you're a coach, you?
Oh yeah.
Fucking what's your name? Phil Brown, is it?
Yeah, big Ron.
Ronald the Boar over here.
Yeah, it was fake that. Anyway, let's get to it's enough of that celebration. Whatever. It's not really celebration, is it? I've just gone slaughtering each other. Right, so Senegal, of course, are the first team up, lads, and they're currently 19th in the FIFA rankings. They dropped 2 places. So, they're a handy side, they're a handy outfit. They've, unbeaten in their last 4. I'm here on the FIFA page here. 1-2, drawn 2. And then, of course, we have ourselves, who are still somehow 60th in the world, even though we won our last 2 games, which is a bit mad. So, Connor, give us a lowdown of Senegal. This is a handy outfit. This is a decent team, and you're a little football nerd. So, get the old abacus out, get the old calculators, and give us those stats.
Throw us up the squad for the fans to see. Me and Martin already have it up from the last time. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Who are? What do you two get up to when I'm not here?
Dave, before I start, name one player who plays for Senegal.
Edouard Mendy.
Who's he play for?
He plays for Senegal.
No,
come on, let's not.
What
come on.
What club do you?
Connor, he does this thing, Martin, doesn't he? Where he goes,
does this, yeah.
I have a spreadsheet. I have to show off because
I don't have a spreadsheet.
I have to have a big wank.
You're the one who actually loves to have spreadsheets. I just know everything.
I love
the
youth.
It's the exuberance of youth. Like when I was 16, I knew all the football. I knew every plan where they played as well. I've no interest now.
Yeah,
I've no interest in where they
married
play.
with 3 kids and a bloody mortgage. You know, I've got 3-legged rabbit here. We haven't got time. Just come on, Connor, get on with it.
Right, what information? What would you like to know about them? What would you like to know?
Who's that?
I don't know. No, obviously, Dave. If I'm surprised you didn't say Mane for Senegal, even though he's not in the squad.
Yeah, but he doesn't play for Senegal anymore, does he?
No, he does. He just isn't in the squad. I imagine he was just rested for this, or left out for whatever reason. But which is probably a good thing. As I said to you, Martin, last week, the Viva's not going to be full of Sadio Mane, Liverpool tops, so it'll be good to see that. Obviously, probably the big names we probably would see is your likes of Ismaila Sarr, that plays for Palace, very good player. Nicholas Jackson. I know he gets a lot of stick, but he is the type of player that causes havoc in a way. Iliman Ndiaye from Everton, another brilliant player. Papa Sarr at Spurs, very good player. Idrissa Gueye at Everton. I know he's 35, but he was basically their player of the year this season.
Contract, isn't he, though? They're letting he's out of contract.
Yeah. No, but I think he's could be renewing. I think it's the chorus of the 2 midfielders. The chorus who won a score. Diarra at Strasbourg is also very good. And then obviously you have Koulibaly. I know he's playing in Saudi now. I don't have a clue if he's any good anymore because he was absolutely crap at Chelsea. But when he was at Napoli, he was one of the best defenders in the world, and then he fell apart. Niakate was with them, who actually is the replacement at Lyon for O'Brien when he left. Like, they've so much talent. It's mad. Like Mendy, as you said, word Mendy. I'm sure you forgot that he's the guy that was in goals for Chelsea when they won the Champions League. So they have a very, very strong squad. You can't really pick out one that's going to be, because they're all like, they've no like you'd say a superstar in their team, but they've a lot of like very good Premier League players. Whilst we have a lot of players that are probably Premier League players that are fighting at the bottom of the table, they have ones that are at least playing mid-table to top 8. Like Iliman Ndiaye is a very, very good player to watch, and like even Jackson. I know Jackson gets a lot of slate. He's gonna cause us probably havoc as well. The way he plays, he never stops running and kind of probably suits that international football style. And then Sarr obviously is a very good winger. They're going to be a real test coming to Dublin. They're probably the best team we've played since. They are the best team we've played since England. I would say they're a better team than Greece. Off talent, off on paper. Sorry, they are the best team we've played in a long, probably since England. What was it? I think Heimir said in the first presser they went 20 games unbeaten at one stage, which is not an easy thing to do in international football. They always do very well in AFCON. So I expect them to come and give us a real test on Friday. They'll come in, I'd imagine they'll come in as favourites anyway, and it's going to be interesting now because a lot of their players are based in England and stuff, so it's not going to be like how are they going to adjust to the climate of playing in Ireland. It's not like
they have a bit of a mixed bag, haven't they? I've seen a lot of players in Saudi. The lad there, Stad Ram, who of course were they were relegated as well. Like just looking here on transfer market, so they have a lot of lads all around.
Stad Ram goalkeeper. I don't think he's going to be playing, Dave. I think they're all right goalkeeper wise. I think he's not going to play.
No. But I'm just saying, like just like he's just an example. And you know, and they're relegated. They were a League One side until relegation. But like, you know, as you said, you got lads there, Palace, Everton. They've also got lads there at Lazio, and Anderlecht and a lot Lyon and all that. So like they're a very, very diverse team, I find. What sort of style do you play? Just look through it. You tend to play 4-3-3 is an attacking formation.
Yeah, it is. They'll be attacking side, because the thing is, the reality is they go into AFCON games or qualifying for World Cup through African nations, and they're going to be massive favourites in every game they play, pretty much, because as good as some of the top tier teams are in Africa, some of the lower tier teams that play are very weak. Like, in fairness, I know in their qualifying group for the World Cup, it's not, they're second in the table. It's not like they've stood like Democratic Republic of Congo are actually top of the group. They've got 13 points from 6 games. Senegal have only got 12 from 6 games, which is quite surprising. And like Sudan is third and 12, and then it's Togo, South Sudan. Like, so it's would you say, it's quite a straightforward group to qualify in. They still have a lot of games still to play in qualifying, because anyway, the AFCON or the qualifying for World Cup in Africa seems to go on for ages, a bit like what it does in South America. So they still have, I think, pretty much a full round of fixtures, or well, not a full round, but the 4 games left to qualify, and you'd imagine they'll end up top in that group. They'll probably win the rest of the games. It's probably not as gone as well as they thought so far. Like, they drew away to Sudan, and then the one other games, but like, you'd never even expect a team like Senegal to go 8 and probably draw with Sudan away from home. That's pretty much, would you say it's probably like Portugal going away to Northern Ireland and drawing with Northern Ireland? This is the first team that came, or like, I'd say Ireland would be considered a lot better team than like Sudan would be. Like, so it can't be like that sort of game that you wouldn't expect them to draw, but they're going to be a very, very strong outfit. They're going to be something that's going to bring something different probably to the scene, because it's a real, whilst we play a lot of teams in Europe when you play the top teams in Europe, they're more technically absolutely brilliant, and they'll just play out of park. Senegal will probably be more athletically very dominant and will be well on top in terms of, you'll just see the size wise, because we know what the African teams genetically some of them are freaks in nature, and that's no different with Senegal.
Yeah, how's it looking as well, the tennis lads? I saw it was like 33,000.
Someone said 33,000 tickets been sold, but I don't know.
Bad.
We don't hear these things until the day of the match, or until it's set in the stadium, so we don't really know. Martin, have you heard that, Mr. Ticketman?
I've not heard anything, no. But one of the things that's going to be important from this is obviously season tickets and this new point scheme for when we want tickets, and the loyalty points and stuff is something that they are, they will be checking and verifying those against actual activity. So you've actually signed in, basically, your ticket's been active, because a lot of season ticket holders, just different circumstances, probably can't go. So I would encourage people to do give your tickets away. I mean, look, there's loads of going around. I mean, I've seen loads of messages and forums and stuff I'm involved with and asking for tickets, but they're still available. So yeah, you'd hope Martin, we will pick up a little bit of interest now.
Is it the reality? Is it for people who are doing that? Is it just, are they going to have to, instead of like transferring to someone's Ticketmaster account and losing that point, are they just going to have to give someone the logins to their Ticketmaster and let them log in and download their ticket to their wallet and their phone, and then they're in as someone else's name? Because I'm just trying to think, I'm not trying to tell somebody to do that, but I'm just trying to think.
No, I think, it still is your ticket originally. I think it goes against that. That's how it works.
So as long as your ticket is used.
If you're a season ticket holder. That's the way I understand it. But like, I've seen your big love in there about Senegal, how great they are and all that kind of stuff. You sound like, if you love them so much, go and fucking play for them. Who said that?
Roy Keane. Remember that? Patrick Vieira. Yeah, I do.
Vieira. There you go.
Oh, yes.
Before United went out and battered them. That was a great night, that was. United battered them that night.
Bitter much.
That was John O'Shea chip, wasn't it?
Yeah, the 4-2. That was 2005. Brilliant. I remember I was on down the pub, and I decided to stay in with my missus at the time.
I think Vieira scored the first goal in that game.
He did, yeah.
Really good game. And Ronaldo, I think, got 2.
And United, and John O'Shea had a lovely chip forward to Heimir. It's mental.
Black kit. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. Obviously, with Senegal, I mean, this is the big test, isn't it? This is the one where Heimir is he's not going to experiment with this, is he? He's going to go with a senior team, you'd imagine, 19th in the world, see what the lads are against. It's probably one of the highest quality opposite. Definitely a step up or 5 from Bulgaria, who were so bad. So he's going to want to really see what senior lads, or the senior lads that are left in the squad. He's going to see what he wants to do against these, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is the biggest game out the two with regards to not being experimental, like setting out what we're, how we're going to play against these African sides next year in America. So we're that confident to be in there. So we might as well set out our stall. Kind of in a way, it's mad actually, wasn't it? The anniversary of Matt Holland's goal against Cameroon, and we didn't really know what they were going to offer in 2002. We knew a very, very good side, winning World Cups and things, but it's that you don't know this kind of. All right, we can watch them and things like that, but it's totally different coming up against African sides, I think. So it's not going to be a European game, I don't think. You know what I mean? So I think they'll offer a lot of challenges, and I think he has to be particularly strong with his selection on that and go really, really strong. And I think he can afford to be experimental going off to Luxembourg with perhaps even some more players coming into the squad.
We'll get to Luxembourg in a second, but I think with Senegal, he's going to pack the midfield against Senegal, isn't he, Connor? Like they're quick attacking unit, could tear us apart in the centre of the park if we give them too much space.
Yeah, I think we should play Ryan Manning centre mid and play Ryan Manning left wing and right wing and everywhere. Just play Ryan Manning. No, but I think he'll just go 4-4-2 again. He could even do something mad and play John Patrick on the wing for size, like he's done for Stade Rem this season a few times. But no, I think he'll go basic enough and he'll just go with his 4-4-2 that he's done before. It'd be more interesting for me is whether he'll go with 2 up top with a Powart and Ida, or I don't know if Powart's fit to start, or Ida Ferguson or Powart Ferguson, or will he go with a number 10? Because probably would have maybe looked to start Smodics, but we don't have Finn Azaz either. So will he go and bring Andy Moore in the starting after not being in the initial squad? I don't know. So it'd be interesting unless he goes and plays he plays small ball maybe as a 10 and plays with a midfield 2 of Knight and Taylor. But it'll be interesting now what way he sets up in that sense, because I'm thinking of the depression of having seen Ryan Manning play left mid again, which is hurting my brain. I don't want to see nothing as Ryan Manning, but it's just the thought of a left back playing left mid again.
I mean, who does he go there? Because
I would do personally as Casey. The person who picks the squad would put Casey McAteer on the left and Fessy on the right if he's going to go 4-4-2.
And you could swap, couldn't you? You could let him have a go.
I'd even rather see Josh Onan play left mid, to be honest, because Josh Onan plays left wing back for Shamrock Rovers, and he's shown the levels he's done that he can play, but he's not going to bring him in and start him at left.
What would you do, lads? There, I agree with Connor. I'd like to see a 4-4-2 because I think if we try to go 4-3-3 against this lot, they're going to absolutely cut us to shreds. Keller's going to start, isn't he? If he's back from his signing from Brentford, or to Brentford, I should say. Who are you going to go in defence?
Martin?
Yeah, I'd be going 4-4-2 as well. I think what that gives you the option is that you can, if you can drop someone in, just behind the solo one-ups front, I suppose. But yeah, Kelleher for me would start in goal. Robbie Brady left, Matt Doherty right. Probably Collins, and I'd say maybe Darrow Shea he might go with on that. I don't know if he'll go with Jake straight away, I'm not sure. And then pack that midfield. You do need kind of Festy, I think, with the speed and power on the side, on the right. And I think he will. It just shows you limitations of our midfield there, though, doesn't it? Even looking at that, I know there's players out like Cullen. I know you're so critical of Cullen and what he does, Dave, but
I'm not being funny.
I mean, there's who else sits in there and is a holding midfielder out of that lot.
I mean, I'm not being funny. With Cullen, it's not like Cullen's missing. I don't see. Even if you add Cullen to that, no disrespect to Cullen, I don't really exactly see.
If you add Cullen into that midfield there, Cullen's first name in midfield, isn't he? Is he not? No,
because he's only number 6.
He is.
Yeah, he's
without doubt. So that's
where
he is important.
But where's bring in the boss? Should have brought in Boston.
Well, we said that.
Well,
just brought him in.
I think he does like Jack Taylor. I think he'll offer a bit as well. Will in there as well. Pack that in a way like it's a 4-5-1 in a way. I think because, but I think that's where I can see him going with Ida, and then I think Ida does more on his own than Ferguson does on his own. So I think that's where that might. And Manning, I think, will probably start on the left.
Oh,
I think he will. I think he'll.
Well, like you're missing still another. Who's your secondary, your number 10, or your striker, or your second striker?
I think he'll go with. So what have I got? Well, Jason Knight's in the middle with Jack Taylor, Smallbone, and I've got Vesti there, hasn't I? Yeah, on the right, and Ida.
Or even a 4-3-3 would be it could make sense if you had 3-man midfield with Knight, Smallbone, Taylor, or Knight.
No, I think he'll pack it. I think he'll go. I think the midfield, obviously Knight, Smallbone. He probably will go with Manning on the left, but I'm with you, Connor. You know, I think Martin, that's what you're saying as well, isn't it? Like you think he's going to go Manning. You don't want to see Manning on the left. Nothing against Manning, but I'd like to see, Casey McAteer on the left. Why not? With Festi on the right. I'm with you on that one, Connor, as well. And then the two lads can switch, because obviously I know he's a right-sided attacker, isn't he, Casey? But you never know. He can come in on his right, whilst on the left. And up front, I think he's going to go with Power. So I think he's going to go with Ferguson, and he's going to go Adam Ida. Now, obviously, Troy Power isn't 100% fit, so maybe he's not going to throw him. He's not going to start for that.
I don't see Ferguson and Ida start in front together.
You don't think those two big lads?
I don't think he would go with two together.
Senegal are physical side.
I don't think there's enough running behind with them two, to be fair.
Yeah,
no, but I think it's just the physicality of it. I think if you put Troy Parrott up against those lads, I
think he's used to playing. It's not, you can't just keep saying that physical. There's just more variety to things if you put Troy Parrott up there. I think Troy Parrott will. I know what I'm saying is he start. I think he probably is fit enough to start at this stage, because he did come on the last two games for AZ of their season, and he has still been training since, obviously, with Ireland and stuff. So I'd say he still has 60 minutes in his legs anyway. Like, so the reality is one distraction coming off after.
He will feature. I think he's going to go. He'll go to two lads at the beginning, because Evan needs as many minutes as possible, because he was starved a minute by West Ham, whatever that nonsense was. And I think he's going to go with those two lads at the beginning, and then he'll bring on Power later into the game. If the two lads aren't moving and there's no fluidity, he'll bring in Parrott. I think Parrott's a superb player. 20 plus goals this season for AZ. He's a lovely footballer. But I just think he'll go to two big lads up front. We'll move it on to the next one, lads. Luxembourg, who are 91st. They're 90th in the rankings. Are they 90th? Sorry, let me.
No, they're shite.
You say they're shite. Like we say they're shite. I mean,
91st.
They've got.
So are we.
No, we're not.
Look at the players. They got. I don't know. They got players playing in some.
They're not completely shite.
No, I'm only messing. They're a lot better than what they were. They're a lot better than what they were when we lost them 1-0. They're a lot better of a side now compared to what they were then.
Like some of those lads there, like are they're playing at decent clubs.
Yeah, the lads at Leandro Barreiro, if you pronounce it, at Benfica, plays regularly for Benfica.
Two lads at Benfica.
Good level, yeah.
Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, the boy at. Or you mean Mönchengladbach? Do you mean Mönchengladbach?
Borussia Mönchengladbach. You have Enzo Duarte. He's at Borussia Dortmund under 17. So these lads are handy. Now, whether he's going to make it, we could have players. The EU teams getting involved there as well. But you got Hanover 96.
Do you remember Gerson Rodriguez?
Gerson Rodriguez, he's the guy who scored the goal in Dublin, didn't he?
Yeah, he was the boy who scored when they beat us. That makes me want to cry. The fact we lost to Luxembourg.
That's not the worst result. The worst results coming up in a couple of days' time on Lansdowne Road. For me, the 0-0 in Liechtenstein. Martin.
The anniversary of that. No, I think just on Luxembourg, looking at their last results, lost to. I mean, they're playing Slovenia on Friday as well, so obviously we'll keep an eye on that and see how what they start with. Yeah, they beat Sweden. Drew with the North. Bulgaria, they had, some, mixed results with them, didn't they? Lost to them, and they also drew. So I think they'll be compact. To be one of them teams. I think where it's intriguing them is I think I'd like what I want us to do is obviously see how we approach this with. Are we going to be comfortable on the ball and keep the ball really well? It's an away game like that. Are they going to sit in? It's quite intriguing to see that, because that's where I think we will be a bit more expansive in our play, and that's where you probably need a clever kind of player around there. I think that's where we will miss Finazaz or a Schmodics, or perhaps Will Smallbone plays a little bit to maybe unlock that door in a sense. So it's more. I think we're going to be more creative on that game against Luxembourg.
Yeah, I mean,
that's going to be the challenge.
Yeah, I mean, these lads are going to be look, we should beat the Luxembourg. No disrespect, but they are going to be technically probably more comfortable on the ball than we are, because a lot of these sides in the continent just are. They play 4-3-3. I think they play 4-3-3 attacking, according to Transfer Market, against Sweden. And then they play 4-4-2 against, which they won 1-0. And then the last game, 3-1 loss to Switzerland. Switzerland are a decent side. They play 4-4-2. I think he's obviously going to experiment with this one. Probably goalkeeper's going to go Max O'Leary, lads. I think we're pretty much agreed on that, yes? Yeah. Would this be when he breaks out the Josh Honohan and Andrew Omobamidele, Liam Scales, maybe Jacob Bryan plays on the right? Do you think he'll go for that? A nice rigid back four?
He won't make wholesale change like that. He'll bring people on. Like he'll make some.
I think he'll start lads that you're kind of saying you're writing, like the likes of your Omobamidele, your O'Brien, your Scales. I think them three will definitely start, because them three because I think you're thinking them three lads are all playing at a very high level. I know people say about Scottish League, but Scales has shown he can in the Champions League and stuff, and he has been playing well for Celtic. The likes of them. One of the midfielders who isn't starting before will probably start, and then it'll be rotated up front. I think it's more you'll see maybe two different centre backs come in and someone different at right back, and then maybe one change in midfield. If I see Ryan Manning start 2 games in a row at left mid again, this all. But no, it'll be because we've no wingers or so. Like I want to see Andy Moore starting on the wing or something, because he's going to start getting, because he won't play as well as what he should be able to, and then you're getting people start jumping on his back saying, "Oh, he's overrated this because he's playing right wing." Maybe he could be the player that could play as a number 10 against them to unlock something, because he's the one option that can really. Because I think Will Smallbone, honestly, he's a lot better playing deeper than he is playing as a number 10, to be honest. So it'll be interesting what sort of changes he'll do. But like I think his priority probably the Luxembourg game is to win the game in terms of getting confidence up, especially if we don't beat Senegal. But if we beat Senegal, I think the camp will be up, and then it'll be, because he knows like players will be very annoyed coming into this camp if they come in and they play 20 minutes, unless you're maybe John Patrick, Keeley, Honohan, who am I missing? Who's the other call up? And Phillips. If the 4 of them come on off the bench, I said they would probably be at least now. But if you're a Jake O'Brien or Obamidele, or even a Will Smallbone, and all you play in the whole 2 games is 20 minutes off the bench against Luxembourg, I think you'd be a very frustrated figure.
I think he's dropped the ball a little bit with the team selection, and this would be a perfect game. I look. The last time we had a squad that was able to experiment like this was November 2022, and Kenny completely shit the bed on that. And he did. And he brought a senior squad, and we lost to Norway at home, and we barely beat Malta. It was due to a fuck up at the back, basically. And Colin Robinson went in, otherwise it would have been a 0-0 draw. And we learned nothing. We learned absolutely nothing. He, in my opinion, should experiment like crazy. This is where you want Garcia McNulty, and Andy Moran's come in. He should have been in the squad really, probably from the very start. But obviously he's taken the withdrawal of Smodic and Coleman. Coleman shouldn't have been in the squad. Not going to go into it. But McNulty, this is where you experiment. What's the point of playing an experienced squad? Like, I just hope he doesn't panic that if we lose to Senegal like 2-0, right? Because they're just a better team. Fair enough. Don't panic. Don't then start your strongest team against Luxembourg. Experiment. Because I don't think, and this is what Kenny didn't get with the Malta game, it's experiment, but he was under pressure to win. And I think if you play experimental side against Luxembourg, you get like a 1-1 draw, or like you labour to a 2-1 win. People won't mind too much because you go, well, no, he played an experimental side. You had to see what Honohan's like. Can he step up from the League of Ireland? We need a left back. We need someone who could play left back. It would have been perfect. Can McNulty play? We know Scales can play against these teams. We know what Scales brings. We know what Doherty brings. I want to see experimentation. This is where you start John Patrick. This is where you start Andy Moran. People are going on about his cameo. And I see a little face there, Connor. They're going on about his cameo against England. All right, yeah, England, it was 4-0 down. England game wrapped up. Let's see what he does from the start. And, let's try something different. And if it doesn't work, then, if it's not working after 60 minutes, then you bring on the senior players. And then you probably, if you're losing 1-0, you bring on the senior players, you win it 2-1 or whatever. I just hope he doesn't bottle it. The manager. I think if he plays a strong side against Luxembourg, if we don't get a great result against Senegal, and even if we do, I think he'll bottle it. Don't worry about the momentum with this. This is a time to experiment. Go on.
I get what you're saying. I think he'll go strong from Senegal. He'll make subs within that game, without that game, and then people who've come on and have kind of impressed from that game, he'll start some of them the next time. I would expect Honohan probably not to start any game, perhaps come on in one of them. I think that's just where the new cap's going to be a little bit. I know, but I can't. He will want to get a foothold in each of them games and be really, really solid.
But what do you learn? From Robbie Brady? No, nothing.
No, I know that. Yeah, no, I know that.
What do you learn from him? We know what you get from him.
I know, but I think you've got to allow them players coming in to have that foundation of, we know what. Like Robbie Brady, we're solid there. We're solid Doherty. I think, for example, Jake or Darragh Shea could play right back in one of them games instead of Doherty. That could be one thing that does happen. Omar Babadelli could come in as centre back. We would trust him with that. But I think some of the others, it's a little bit of, he will rotate that a little bit, the forwards more. I think, and the attacking players we have. And just to kind of see what they offer and give an opportunity, because it is a massive opportunity for them lads as well coming in. You might only have 30 minutes off the bench to impress in that first game, but obviously grasp that. I mean, I think gone are the days, Dave, where we have such a settled squad, and I know this is an experimental squad, obviously with some of the players obviously missing, but gone are the days where we used to make like 4 or 5 subs at half time. That's how friendlies used to be, didn't it? It was wholesale changes, and it was playing like 2 teams. I don't think that will happen now. I don't think we give caps out like that as well. I think actually he's more reliant on what he sees off the pitch with them, in their training games and things like that, and also the kind of tactical messages they're giving to them outside of the actual game time. So that's where I think we are with it. I think it's a key thing, the goalkeeper, because with Bazunu, it does worry me with these injuries and how he's going to come back. And I think Max O'Leary has to play in one of them games and start as well, so he is ready, because we've had that situation in the past with goalkeepers, haven't we? Well, before Kelleher and Bazunu came in, we had goalkeepers who were a bit shaky ultimately. So you need to prepare for being without Bazunu in a sense. I know that sounds quite harsh.
Travers is
but we don't know what he's going to come back. Oh yeah, he will. Yeah. We know that, but I think you probably have to reward. I think.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you do have to reward O'Leary.
Yeah,
he deserves that first cap.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. What do you reckon, Connie? You were sort of like shaking your head there a little bit when I was on about that he needs to experiment. Be a bit more
no. The thing is, I don't disagree that he needs to experiment, but what I would do is I would go and I would say it's Mark Canham's fault. It's all his fault. All the games that should have been the experimenting games.
Right, you are right.
I agree. Yeah.
Was last March and last June, where there was friendlies leading into absolute nothing. And then Heimir came in September. Reality is he didn't know any of the players. John O'Shea picked the squad from. We played England. John O'Shea picked the team. Blah, blah, blah. The second game was Heimir was just trying to use his football brain to make changes that he thought would make a difference to the team. And then we had played Finland away and we played Greece away in October, where he got more of what he wanted, but he was only kind of starting to implement it a bit. And then we had the 2 games then, and then we had the 2 games in March. So the reality is, like, when Azaz only really came into the team for Heimir in Finland away, players like that he wants in the team. The reality is Heimer's only really, I think, since November, maybe the last game in October, started to get a style of football or get a way of football that he wants to see Ireland play. And the reality is he probably thinks he's much better off bringing in players that he knows will be definitely in the squad come September and building in his way and building a continuity. The fact is that we're missing, because the reality is a lot of these players are still trying to adapt to his style of play, which is badly needed. I know you're on about experiment, and we do need to experiment, and there's players that are there to come in and get their chance, and there's other players I thought should have been in anyway to get their opportunity. But the reality is he's probably thinking, I need to continue with the likes of Collins in the team, Doherty in the team, Jason Knight, either any of the strikers, Festi, because we have massive games in September, and it's not like we're playing Armenia in September home and away. We're playing probably the biggest game of qualifying. It is the most important game of qualifying is playing Hungary at home, because it is this team that we are competing with for second place as such, that you would, before you say first place, is Hungary, and if you beat them at home, that leaves you in a great position to go and build from that. So he's probably thinking, it's not just momentum, it's getting lads in the way he wants to play. And it's like, how can I get as many in for this camp as possible? Is a disappointment with the game in the games in what was it, in the start of May got cancelled, because we probably would have seen other lads get really, that would have been a real experimental squad, because we would have had I think we would have had Vata playing 2 games. We would have had Sinclair Armstrong. Well, actually, he wouldn't have playoffs, but even Melanie Galley, Tyler Goodrum, we would have probably had lads that Mark McGuinness, who done well in his debut but hasn't been seen since because of how poor Luton have been. There's lads that probably would have been more experimental then, and he did say he was going to bring in more League of Ireland heads really now at this camp. Robbie Brady probably wouldn't have been in the squad, because of he would have been in the squad at the start of May and played them 2 games. And they probably would have brought in maybe a Will Ferry or Garcia McNulty at left back. So I don't think it's fair just to say he's wrong for not experimenting more, because I think he does need to. I don't think he's got his ways implemented fully in the squad, which he wants to do for September.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying, and you are right. The whole Canham thing, totally get it, but and that's well documented. You're 100% correct, but we can't do anything about that. You can do something about this. Thing is, right, he's going with senior players like Collins and all that. Those lads have had especially Collins and especially Jason Knight have played every game. Jason Knight played every minute, didn't he, the championship?
Yeah, and the playoffs as well.
And the playoffs. I don't think, do you know what? I don't think he should be in the squad, to be honest. Give the lad a break. You know what you get with Jason Knight. You know what you get with Nathan Collins. Those lads are going to want to go on a break. They've played every minute of every game, right, in the league. That's where you bring in Bosun and say, listen, you've basically sat your arse on the bench all season. Show me what you can do. Show me what you can do. You don't learn anything with these guys in the squad because you know what they bring. And I'm sorry, if you are an international standard player, then you should be able to take simple fucking instructions. Let's be honest. That's the whole thing. Now, I know I'm going a bit old school there, Martin, but I'm sure you'll agree. If you're an international player, you could take instructions on the fly, because that's what international football is. You get a day with them. Right, I want this. Keep it simple. Bosh. If you're an international player, you should be able to do that. And as I said with Robbie Brady, shouldn't be in the squad. You know what you get with him. You know what you get with Collins. You know what you get with Knight, etc. I could go on. I think this is a time now to try and, if you call up 5 players that are experimental and just only one works out, that's a success. Because, what happens if Cullen goes down? Can Bosun play in that role for Ireland? Can he do it at international level? Can John Patrick? I know John Patrick's in the team. He could play a 6 or an 8. I think he could be quite a good 6, actually. Who knows? But I just think, and I understand both sides of it, I really do, but that's what I would have done, because I thought, okay, we need players, because international players know what I want. That's why he goes for experienced players. Robbie Brady knows what to do at this level. Matt Doherty knows what to do. So does Collins. I know he's only 24.
Yeah, I get your point on that, but I think actually the players you're naming are going to be, they're all going to be starters in September. Everyone, we know, we know what they're going to do, but
they also want a break. Give them a break. They're not going to be fully at it either. You're going to learn.
No, but I know, but I think it's just that's the way like this is football now. Like they don't get breaks. I mean, we're off to a World Club Cup thing. These players now, how they have their breaks are like this. This is what it's about. So I think he's actually gone really strong with this because he really wants to get good results in this. I think he'll be really disappointed.
I don't think it's more. I think it's more than just. I think it's just building on what he's done.
It is building. Yeah, he's got to build.
It's not
like,
even
on that feel good factor.
It's these lads that he wants. I think the reality is, if say for example Collins hasn't played before from March until September, his last memories really with Ireland, if he doesn't do well this, or if he plays well this month, would have been. I've been quite shaky, and I'm coming into an international, the massive biggest games of his. Reality is, for 99% of these Irish players, these World Cup qualifiers are going to be by far the biggest games they've ever played in for Ireland because it's such a fresh group, basically, of lads that, like, a lot of them weren't even in. Like, I'd say 80% of these lads weren't even in the squad or weren't regulars for when we lost on penalties to Slovakia in that Euro, was it 2020 qualifier, semi-final playoff. Like, and the reality is, a lot of these lads that if they weren't involved in this camp, their last game for Ireland would have been March against Bulgaria. And going from March to September is a long time to go on without playing for Ireland. I know there's lads like you'd say Zaz will be a starter in September. I know there's a few others from the championship will be key. But it's just, I think he just wants to keep building with these lads and build a strong base.
But do you not see though that it's a bit fruitless because if he's trying to build on what he's trying to do with the senior players and get the momentum, get them used to it, he doesn't have his as, he doesn't have Cullen, he doesn't have a load of championship players that normally be in the squad. So if you don't have your regular players, well, experiment, go hard, go home with experimentation.
Well, he probably thinks bringing in Patrick and Phillips is experimenting. The reality is, I think I would have brought in for me, in my opinion, I would have probably called up 5 new names. Not 4. I would have brought in a different left back instead of Brady just to give him off. I would have brought in probably Will Ferry or Sean Rowan at left back as another option at left back because I do think Brady. I think what's the point really with bringing him, especially when he does me the thing about not having lads coming from finishing championship on his 3rd of May in now, and he was the only one actually. Well, obviously
McNulty should have been in instead of Coleman or Doherty. He should have been. Give the lad a chance. You don't.
I think you're making too much a big deal of McNulty being in. I think you're too much of a centre back coming in because the reality is we've so much depth at centre half, and I do think if Cashin starts playing the Premier League next season, he'll probably be in before him.
But McNulty does play right back sometimes, doesn't he?
He's left-footed.
He's left foot, is he? Sorry,
left foot. So he plays left back. He plays left. He has played left. He played a full season at left back last year, but obviously it's not his best position. But Heimir did say if McNulty's going to come into the squad, he's probably going to play a left back just with the way we have centre halves.
Fair, but a left back can also play right back as well. To be fair, Doherty, Coleman have done it. You know,
it's usually the other way. It's usually the other way. It's usually like Josh Honahan is right-footed, but he plays a lot at like left wing back.
If you play in a wing, if you play in one side, you can play in the other side. You might not be as good, but you are adaptable. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like the reality is, you can't make too many changes. Like because the reality is, a lot of lads like we thought like probably should still be in. Like I thought probably Azaz really should be in this sort of squad because he hasn't played for Ireland that much, and you want to build up. But like he's probably our number 10 as such in that position to build with. And I know it's a couple of weeks off and stuff, but it's probably more important that he probably gets a move to the Premier League this summer and starts playing at a higher level. I probably would have brought in Alan Brown as well.
Fuck off.
No, yes.
I think to be fair though, I think
I know what you were doing.
Like, a lot of things we don't know in the background. We don't know is like Finn Azaz is obviously looking for a move. O'Dowda is another one who could have been in the squad, possibly could be moving. There's reasons. A lot of them. Some of them also have like little niggly injuries and little minor ops that you don't ever hear about, but that's just what they do. So that will come out. That comes out in about like 5 or 6 months' time. You say, oh, well, this is actually why he wasn't in there, or even family weddings and things like that. This all happens this time of year. So I think that's something to recognise as well. But like I think he has actually been experimental. I think even like this Will Smallbone, he pulled out the last squad, didn't he? So he's back in there now. Will offer something. Great to see Festy back as well.
Yeah, because the reality is, Martin, starting Jack Taylor is experimenting because he hasn't started for Ireland. Exactly. Like something like that is experimenting, which he probably will start. Smallbone hasn't really played for Southampton over the last. But Jack Taylor, he started 4 or 5 games in a row, which is the most he started probably ever for Ipswich. Like when they were in the Championship and got promoted, he barely played at all, really, and then he played more in the Premier League this season. And I would say probably the 2 positions I wanted to see more experiment in this month was, or maybe you'd say 3 positions would have been middle of the park, left back, and on the wing. Reality is we probably got the experiment we wanted in midfield, because the reality is he's brought in 2 new names in midfield. You can't ask for much more than 2 new midfielders being brought in. And the thing is, Taylor, small bones back in. Left back is disappointing. I wanted to see a different left back in, and I would have wanted to see another winger brought in, because we only have is Festi, McAteer. Probably going to see Manning there at some stage if he's not starting anyway. Like I probably thought maybe someone like Millie Ali that was at Luton was doing exceptionally well. I know he got relegated, but like a player like that, with the profile international football, I imagine he does have interest in him anyway, even though we only signed for them in the winter. Would have been a good option to bring someone like that in. Someone like Tyler Goodrum at Oxford, who had a very, very good season. Them has loads of interest from top Championship teams. Like I just think the wing position, I think, is quite strange. It's so little wingers. McAteer, Festi. I hate seeing Manning as a winger, but like, I guess that's where he is for this camp. But I don't get this thing really of Manning as a winger, because I do think come September, when we have more options back on the wing, Johnson, Vata, are we gonna continue with Manning on the wing? If Vata, I expect Vata to hit the ground running next season, and you're going to tell Rocco Vata he's playing on the bench. He's on the bench because Ryan Manning was just to fit this 4-4-2, but you can't play someone who works just as hard defensively. In reality, as Manning is suspect defensively, but he observes 10 times as much going forward. So, I just think winger wise, I think he should have maybe brought in actually, especially when we seen that Smodics dropped out and Coleman dropped out, and we didn't bring in another right back, but we just brought in Andy Moore, and as he said, a wingerish player, but we know it's not his best position.
Yeah, no, I agree. He needs to play down the centre. Right, lads, before we wrap this up, I've gone a little bit over.
Shock.
Passionate debate. What do we reckon he's going to go with? Obviously, I reckon Max O'Leary will start, and I think he deserves it.
But we should just save this for the match preview. Who we want to start?
Well, no, because we did it with Senegal, didn't we? So I'm trying to be fair. What are you saying to Luxembourg or Lansdowne that they don't deserve?
No, I mean what we did Luxembourg starting 11 on the match preview, and we do our starting 11 for Senegal on the Senegal.
But we just said with Senegal, but we've already done it in this video. That's what I'm saying. What do you think he's going to go with? And then we'll find. Then we'll do it again.
For the second game, I think for the second game we'll go Max O'Leary.
Yes,
I think
wakey.
Right, he'll go Max O'Leary. Let me put up the squad again. I'll tell you it now. We'll go Max O'Leary.
Go for it now, Arthur. Come on.
All right, Max O'Leary. He'll start with Nathan Collins because I expect him to be captain anyway. I think he probably won't play Matt Doherty in the second game. I think he'll start maybe Darrow O'Shea or Jacob Ryan even there. Liam Scales will come in as well. And I don't think Robbie Brady will play the 2 games either. So I think he will make kind of wholesale changes at the back for the second game.
Midfield.
I think he'll be quite consistent. Probably will start with Jason Knight. I think Andrew Moore will get time in that second game. John Joe Patrick Finn will be in there as well. I think, that's where we will see a bit more changes. And then I think that's where he might look at the likes of, again, I think it's kind of one of the things I always used to go back to the time of Stephen Kenny with Keith Andrews. I think you really have to help Evan Ferguson. So you start him again to give him the profile, give him the platform to score in a couple of games, and he's going to help him get his move. I think Casey McAtee will probably get a bit more time in that one as well. I know I probably haven't really picked the team, but I just think that will be the kind of
great team.
Get more time than not.
What about you, Connor? What do you reckon?
What do I want to see?
All right, what do you want to see? Or
Josh Keeley at goals. Josh Keeley at right back. But I'd say Max O'Leary. I'd give him 45 minutes and then bring Josh Keeley on, and then I would have what's his name? Jacob Ryan right back, Omobamidele centre back, Liam Scales other centre back, and Honan at left back. Even though we won't start and then I'd have in midfield. I would have Small bone, John Patrick Finn. That's quite actually size-wise quite good and technically actually very good. Andy Moore in the 10, and then I'd have Fessy on the right, Ferguson up front, and Casey McAteer on the left. And that would mean that you could start Ida and Power up front together in the first game, and you can still have a midfield two of Knight and Taylor. Knight and Taylor in the first game, and a lot of lads are getting a lot of minutes as well, and you're giving lads that have played quite a bit a break. I don't want to see Nathan Collins start the second game, to be honest, Martin. I know you're saying about captain and all this, but we've other lads that could do a job as captain as such, and the reality is it's not like Nathan Collins is Seamus Coleman, that he's the biggest leader in Irish history that we need him to be starting no matter what. Like he'll captain the squad on Friday. I don't think he's going to take any offense if he's told we're giving you a rest in the second game, but we could probably think, well, it'll be easier to do this, to be honest, after the first game, because then we can judge on how we got on, who done well, and what way we see Heimir line up, what way he's talking, like, because he could say it in the match preview or the pre-match. I'll let you know, some managers do say, I'm not going to change much at all, and then they make 10 changes. But no, it'll be interesting now what he does. Probably usually, as we usually do, an hour and 15 before every game, we see the lineup and we're thinking what system he's going with here, because it always seems like there's someone brought in not in their natural position. But if Ryan Manning's not playing left mid, I'll be absolutely buzzing. Nothing against Ryan Manning himself, but it's a bit like saying if Matt Doherty's not playing right mid, I'll be buzzing. It's just so not right in my eyes.
Yeah, no, I'd go with that. Goalkeeper would be Max O'Leary. Maybe you're bringing Josh on, but I think Josh is just there for the experience, to be honest. With you. Defenders, yeah, go with that. I mean, I called it Joshua Honohan. Josh, I'm telling you, it's such a nicer name. As left back and of course right back. Just what you named there, Connor. And yeah, I'd like to see Moran and I'd like to see John Patrick Finn, and I'd still like to see Festy. I'll probably go 4-4-2 again. Festy and Casey on the wings. Those lads need minutes, especially Festy's just come back from an injury. And yeah, I suppose up front you could go with Troy, or you go with Troy and Evan up front there and see what they do. I reckon it'd be a nice, good attack inside that. That's what I'd like to see. Quick Senegal lads, what score?
I think it will be. I want to go 1-1.
1-1. Connor?
I think we'll draw 0-0.
Luxembourg?
Right. We'll win 3-0 over there.
Connor?
7-1. Nah, 2-0.
Josh Keeley with a hat trick.
Sinclair Armstrong getting a fight over just to score the 6 goal, the other 4 goals.
For me, I think we'll lose 2-0 Senegal. But it'll be a hearty 2-0, and it can happen. And I think we'll beat Luxembourg 2-0 over there. That's what I reckon. 2-0 either side. And
I have a question for you, lads. For the last question, I have: who is going to be your player of the window, and what do you want to learn most from this window? What do you want to take from the most? 2 questions actually. Who's your and what's your biggest takeaway you want it to be?
I think. Sorry, Martin, you go ahead.
Go on.
For me, the biggest takeaway, I just want to see what we've got in reserve. Really, I want to see Joe Patrick Finn cut it at international level. Is more and more the hype? Can he do it for 90 minutes? And I want to see, obviously, Killian Phillips there as well. Yeah, I just want to see what we have in reserve. That's the big question for me. What do we have on the fringes? Which I think is the most important question of this campaign. And I think my player of the window is going to be, you know what? I have a feeling it's going to be Evan Ferguson. I reckon he's probably going to get like the 2 goals for us in Luxembourg. And he'll be our player because he's going to have something to really prove. And I'm a big fan of Evan Ferguson. He's going to have something to really prove and stick it up Graham Potter's hole. And I hope he fucking does as well. And I do, and I fucking hope he does as well. Oh, fucking West Ham's arse. Sorry, West Ham, but you did cost us Declan Rice and Martin O'Neill.
Right. I think for me, it's the goalkeeper situation is really, really important. I'd like to see Josh Keeley. No, I think it is. Well, why can't I have that Fucking view, you big clown.
I have never heard someone in modern day. The biggest thing I want to take with is the goalkeeper position.
No,
Jeez,
what I'm saying is, I want to
aren't you?
see Max O'Leary and Josh Keeley get time.
I want to see a really good set piece, Connor. That's what I want to see. A really
Right,
good
I
throw
want
in
to see
set
that.
piece.
I want to see that because someone's been hyping up Josh Keeley for the last 6 months, so I want to see that fruitful for him. And I think John Joe Patrick, I want to see him. Like, can he cut it? Like I do agree with you, Dave. I'd like some of these lads who we've had a lot of we've been speaking about them on OBIG for so long on our weekly show, which you can catch obviously with us. So I want to. I know that, but no, I'm just saying we talk about them and on OBIG, but can they actually come in and do it? It is the key thing for me, and I have a feeling I think we'll see good performances from Festi. Is my prediction.
You, Connor?
Biggest takeaway I want to see a midfielder put their name out there as I am the man to break up the partnership between Cullen and Knight. I want someone to grab the balls by the horn, bull by the, what's it?
Wow.
Bull by the horn.
By the bull by the horn and show us what they actually have got in midfield. Whereas John Patrick, even as Will Smallbone Taylor, someone that can break it up. And Festi's a good shot player window, but this is going to be the arrival of Andy Moore in an Ireland shirt. He is going to come off the bench and make a moment of magic against Senegal if Heimir has a brain and brings him on. And then against Luxembourg, he's going to tear them apart. And we're going to see the blossom of the start of the player who's going to be the difference maker for Ireland in that number 10 role for the next 10, 15 years.
Okay.
So Andy Moran's going to have a moment of magic against Senegal in the 0-0 draw that you predicted.
Yeah. Something gets us off feet. No, a moment of magic can be a last-ditch slide tackle 1v1.
And that's what you want your tackle midfield doing, yeah?
I got criticised for talking about the goalkeepers. God, you're saying you want to see... So what you want to see from Ireland on Friday, you're going to the Aviva, you want to see a last-ditch tackle. That would make you...
From Andy Moore. Just from Andy Moore. Yes, can do one. There's Andy Moore.
Fucking hell. Anyway, on that bombshell, tell us what you think in the comments. Who you think? I want your predictions. I want to know who you think's going to be the player. Do you think Heimer's gone far enough with the experimentation? Who knows? I don't think he has. He has experimented. Want to get that point across, but has he gone far enough? In the comments below. And also don't forget, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel and also like this video. Head over to our Facebook, Instagram, and our Twitter. And if you want opinion, head over to lansdowneroar.ie. Do not forget, we also have a fanzine similar to the Bulgarian one. We have one for you in Luxembourg. That will be in the description below. You can head over to lansdowneroar.ie to get that as well. James Agnew has put together a fantastic list of things for you to do because these two lazy bastards didn't want anything to do with it because they're jealous. Effort.
It's the team effort, this pod.
Yeah. Shine the fanzine, isn't it? No, but I jest, lads. I jest. It's all a team effort. But yeah, that is over at lansdowneroar.ie. Do check it out. It's retro. It's proper 1987 retro. And also do not forget, we will be, of course, this is the international window now. Connor and myself will be live from the ground in Dublin. We're going to have the pre-game. We're going to have the aftermath. Then we're over in Luxembourg as well. We're going to be live from the ground there too. Martin will be there also. If you see us, say hello. But usual stuff, lads. International window. Where else are you going to go other than Lansdowne? Come on. Nowhere else. We don't do watch-alongs. We're at the game. And also head over on the 20th. If you're in London, come over. Martin, myself, and Connor, of course, will be over for Lansdowne Roar Live, where we're talking to David Ford. He has his new book out, which is fantastic, which I'm going to get and read on the plane over because I do not want to talk to Connor on the flight.
I'm not sitting beside you anyway. You can do one. I'm not sitting near you.
I'm not sitting beside you because he's
smelly.
Yeah, it's called the Odorant, Connor. I know you're not used to that. It smells
soap. Of weed. That's what you think of.
We.
Yeah.
It's like fucking zig and zag, isn't it? But anyway, I will be reading this book over on my Kindle.
No one cares, man.
They do. Well, David Ford does because I'm going to be buying his book. But also, if you're over in the Claddagh Ring, £30 gets you the book. and also a bit of grub as well. And he'll sign the book for you if you ask him very, very, very nicely. But he's a very nice chap, Martin, isn't he?
He's a great lad. Just to say as well, if you click on the link, if you can't make the night as well, we are taking orders, £25 for the book. And that includes posters and packaging. We'll get it signed and dedicated to you as well. So you can order the book through us, through Risk London, Lansdowne Raw, through that link as well. And we'll get a copy signed and sent over to you. But it's a fantastic book. I'm nearly done with it. But really, really good read. It's very unusual. And David Ford is quite a character. He's probably the only, I think, probably comparative to you, Dave, in the volatility stakes.
Volatile, Martin. I'm not volatile at all.
Very angry man.
I'm not angry. I'm just passionate. Not really a bit of passion. Well, there you go anyway. And of course, Martin has read the book. And of course, the selfish wanker didn't bother to get me one or Connor because he doesn't care about anyone but himself.
No. Wouldn't get the postage to Ireland.
No, you probably wouldn't make it in the post anyway. Have you tried to send something from the UK to Ireland these days? Jesus, it is absolutely. Anyway, it is pointless. So we are out of time on this episode, guys. Thank you very much. As I said, please do like the video. It really does help. And thank you so much for your support. Everything's going up. The numbers are going up. Subscriptions are going up. We're trying to grow the channel. If you like what we do, please leave us a review, a 5-star review over on Spotify and Apple, wherever you get your podcasts from. It really does help. And also tell your friends, family. It's the best podcast in Irish football. Certainly most interactive anyway. Anyway, I'm David Dunn. He is Martin Prendergast. He is also Conor McAvoy. This is Lansdowne Roar. You're all very beautiful. See you on the next one.